to Guide to Decide channel. Today we're going to discuss about AI agent. What is AI agent? You're probably hearing this so often in the sites, in the videos, and everywhere, but I think it's a lot of confusion about what is this. Some people are overhyping this. So I thought maybe I'll make a video to describe what is an AI agent at a high level and maybe the components that are involved in it, right? So without further ado, let's jump into the details, right? So let's start with first definition, right? What is AI agent, right? AI agent is an artificial intelligent agent, is a software program that can interact with its environment, collect data, and use the data to perform self-determined tasks to meet predetermined goals. So let's just dissect this a little bit before we get into the details. What it is really doing is, if we have to really look at the key points, one is it is basically a software program, right? And it interacts with its environment. When it says environment, it's really not like we have to think about literally, but it's going to collect the data from its inputs, right? Whether if you're looking at a software, let's say a chatbot, and that can be treated as an AI agent, and as long as it has all the components in it, and we're going to discuss about those components in a minute. But let's say we're calling a chatbot as an AI agent, then it is going to interact. The environment for it is the internet, and the inputs is what the customer is typing in or a user is typing in, and the site where it is hosted on, right? So that's kind of an environment, right? If we're talking about a humanoid, then there is everything, right? What it is seeing, what it is hearing, and the instructions that it is getting, everything becomes the environment and the inputs. And if you are talking about an autonomous cars, then you're going to get a lot more inputs. So that's all about, right? So it's a very general statement about the environment and the collect data. Now if you look at this statement, the second part of the statement, where it says self-determined tasks to meet predetermined goals, the self-determined task is where the intelligence comes in, right? Because based on the inputs that it receives, it has to self-determine the tasks that it has to do in order to meet the goals that are predetermined, that are programmed into it, or maybe fed into it, or provided as an input as a predetermined goal. So all of that, so it's going to do the required or the needful tasks depending on what you ask to do, and of course the limitations that it has, right? The bot has, or the software has. So now if you look at the structure of it, right, if you really apply this, I just put some diagram here, so it can take different types of inputs here, right? And it goes into the software, and then it comes up with the self-determined task, and to reach the predetermined goal, right? Now when I say this in this gray box, or the blue box here, where I'm saying that the self-determined task and predetermined, it doesn't really make sense when you really look at it from a top angle. So I thought maybe let's further explain it and to see what it is, right? So let's start with let's assume that this is an AI agent, right? And the inputs that it is going to get is the module that we need, where it really, in this software, we need a module where it is going to process the inputs, right? The perception, right? The perception is a module that we need, where it is going to take all that data and it's going to process that data, right? And when it is processing the data, it has to really also look at, and it has to interact with the knowledge, right? And uh, when I say knowledge, I mean the knowledge that the AI agent is either pre-trained, or there is a knowledge that it can get it from its external source. If you talk about the in AI world, there is a term called RAG, which really is referring to getting connecting to the database or the data sources that are outside of this pre-trained models, right? So now this perception, which is the inputs that it got, is really going and trying to interact with the knowledge. So it's going to gather additional knowledge to get more sense of those inputs, or it is going to understand that inputs much more based on the knowledge, or put it into a context based on the knowledge it is going to gain. And once it gains that knowledge, it makes sense out of what it is. The next step is really is all about, this is a problem. Okay, the next step is all about the reasoning, right? So now we can talk about reason engine, right? Reason engine is a module where it is going to make a logical decisions about what it has gathered and what it understood from the inputs. Now, in this reasoning engine, there's also a component that, depending on how these AI agents are designed or architectured, there will be a component called learning component, right? The learning module is more about, uh, you know, depending on what it has gathered so far and how it is reasoning, it's going to learn itself, and it's going to continuously improve on top on based on the actions that it has performed on the request, right? So it's a self-learning module, basically, right? You can call it as it's like improving itself, right? Self-improving. Now, once it gets the reasoning, the next step is all about the decision making, right? Because um, in the earlier module, where it is only getting the logical decisioning of it, it's going to gather the decisions that are logically making sense and all, but the final decision is really happening here. In other words, it is going to look at the goal, and it's going to reorient to the goal before it performs the action. So the last step is actually the actuator, right, or the actual implementation of it, right? Whether it is to respond to the customer, or if it is a bot, a humanoid, then it has to do certain action, physical action, or it has to respond to the customer with some audio. So anything is that, right? Whatever is the output that is expected, right, or the actions that are expected, it's going to be in this part, right? Now, this probably doesn't make sense with these blocks here, unless I put some an example there. Like, let's say, for a minute, you just transport yourself to future state, where so far right now we are all very much familiar with, when you call 1-800 numbers, you get somebody, a computer audio, or a computer is interacting with you, or trying to ask certain questions, and trying to route your call, or trying to even service some of your basic questions by itself, right? So you're not even interacting with human. I think we're all experiencing it in some level or the other in our day-to-day life, right? But when you really think about this in a future state, right? This is just my vision of it, how it is going to, you know, take place, or how it is going to really, you know, um, get implemented by these companies and all. But let's assume that, hypothetically, in the future state, where instead of we as a customers getting to hear or interact with a computer audio, let's assume that you have an AI agent that is working for you, and that AI agent is actually calling the call center, and that computer audio is actually the service representative from the company, or the service provider is actually talking to an agent, right? Think about it, right? It's just reversing it, right? With that concept in mind, let's just think about, let's say you have a use case where you want to make an appointment with your dentist. It's just an yearly checkup, then appointment that you have to make. What you do today is you basically call the dental office and talk to some receptionist, or maybe you go to their site and schedule an appointment, right? You basically check your calendar and their calendar and the appointments available, and you check the appointment, and if you have to reschedule, you have to do all of these steps again, right? Now, in the future state, where you have an AI agent on your phone, or maybe some device at your home, or in your car, you basically gave a prompt or an input to this AI agent, where you're saying that, hey, book an appointment with my dentist in next 2 weeks. This is a regular checkup, right? And that's it. Now, what this AI agent does is it takes the inputs, right, into the perception, right, which is basically it's trying to understand that information. And when it is trying to understand the information, it only knows what input I have given to it, right, or you have given to it. Once you give this input to the system, now the software is trying to make sense out of it, right? It needs more knowledge to make sense out of it. When it is trying to get more data, and it has to get data about you first, right? Who are you, right? And what is that you're asking? It's a dental regular checkup, right? What is really a regular checkup means? It's going to get it from a pre-trained knowledge, because it's this AI is supposed to be intelligent enough with its large language model training, pre-training data. So it's going to find out that, right? But it doesn't know who's your agent, who's your dentist. It's going to find out, and that's an external source. So it's going to get that information outside of the pre-training model, which is your personal information. So it's going to find out your dentist and dental office address, and it's going to basically using this pre-trained model, generally available information, plus your personal information, all of this combined, it's trying to find out, okay, how far is this dental office, what are its working hours, what is the kind of appointment that you're trying to do, and what are the timings that you are preferring, right? And it goes into the reason engine, where it is trying to come up with some logical sense out of it, right? It's trying to think about what makes more sense, right? So it's going to look for, okay, these are the appointments available, or when is the best time for this guy to book this appointment. Oh, he's usually busy in the morning hours, so it's better to put it in the afternoons, and let's look at his or her history of appointments, and going to find out those, right? Once it all gathers all that information, right, and it try to make some logical decisioning, it makes that, okay, afternoon appointments make sense, and it's going to determine that the travel distance and the appointment time, the session, or the actual appointment leaving a buffer of 1 hour for the appointment and then extra half an hour for the whatever the travel distance is and all of that. So it's going to make all those decisions, logical decisions there, and it's going to send that information to the decision making module where the final decision actually is happening. It's going to think about much more logical, beyond the logical. It's going to apply some more context, like what is your preferences and what is your previous history of canceling. Did you cancel more appointments in the morning or in the afternoon? Whatever it is, it's going to apply furthermore decision making, because it's sometimes not logical. It has to go by context, and all of that decision making is going to happen here. And then once it determines, right, it's going to go into the actuator, where now the decision making component knows what are the best timing for you to have this dentist appointment, but you still have to book an appointment. And that's actually the actuator, where it is making either a call out to this dental office and trying to find the best appointment available, or it's going to make an API call, whatever it is, however it is going to interface with or interact with these scheduling application. It's going to come up with a date and time that really works for you. And once it is there, it's going to go through the decision making again. So it's a loop. It's going to go through it, and it's going to make a decision what is really makes sense for this this input, and then finally it confirms the appointment and then creates an appointment on your calendar, right? Now think about this. This is the AI agent, right? This is, as an individual, if you have an AI agent that does things for you, looking at knowing you and knowing the surroundings, knowing the context and everything, and trying to interact with other systems on behalf of you, and trying to do things right in a more trusted way, right? What do you think it can do for companies where they're constantly looking for savings in the cost, improving the customer experience, improving the efficiency? All of those are like every company's objectives, right? Now an AI agent, kind of a software, or the modules available for companies, they're going to always look for the opportunities where they can apply this and increase or improve the efficiency, increase the customer, get more customer experience, or the engagement, or even or the the reduce the cost. Now this is AI agent, right? Now let's just talk about what is happening in the current state, right? You have understood what is AI agent and applied it into a really real day-to-day life use case, what it can do. Now, but think about what is happening today, right? Now, every company, like big companies, Microsoft, Salesforce, or Meta, or OpenAI, all of these companies, or AWS, all of these companies are really offering some kind of AI solutions available, right? You can build these AI agents available to service your customers, your employees, or whoever it is, right, that this company is serving. You can build the solutions, right, that are powered with these AI, right? But companies are not ready to implement the critical use cases yet. Everybody is trying. I think, at least my gathering so far, every company is in the same race, but they're all at the same place, where they're trying with trying out these new technologies with less or non-critical use cases to just test the water, understand what it is going to give, understand the cost, understand the experience, what are really the benefits out of it, which is the typical use case. When the cloud came, that's how they did it. When any new technology innovation comes, companies will not experiment their critical use cases, obviously. So there is going to be time required for these companies to really validate these solutions and get some more confidence, right? And I think personally that the journey has just begun. I don't think we will be getting to that confidence level fast, because it will take some time, because the data, the way to test this is not a typical software where you can just put out the site or put out a piece of code and then validate how it is working. This is like if you have implemented an AI agent on a chatbot and published it on your customer site, like a public site, your corporate site, then how did it interacted with 100 customers that it engaged, right? How do you know? You're going to again depend on the AI to kind of summarize this. And once you get the summarization, the insights that you're going to draw and the surveys that you have to understand, you really need large data again to really get a feel it's really going in the direction that you wanted, or you need to fix the course that you are proceeding, right? So companies are going to take time to get to a point where they want to be, right? So it's going to take, it's a gradual iteration. They're going to see each other, and they're going to make one step forward at a time. But if you're a developer, right, and you're looking for an opportunities like what I should be really doing, I think there are a ton of opportunities where you can look at the companies like Salesforce, or ServiceNow, or Workday, or any other companies where these tools or SaaS applications where they have these workflows, and they are really powering these workflows with AIs and all. If you can really get into any of those, if you learn any of those tools and understand how AI can really integrate into those workflows, and it is a very good opportunities for developers to start. Be that consultant, or a designer, or a configurator, or a developer, whatever it is, or a business analyst, where you can actually apply those AI skills and improve the efficiency, or increase the customer adoption, or they reduce the cost, or whatever the solution it is, show the value, and be able to. I think that's the next market, I feel, as somebody who is on the technology side. And if somebody is on the business side and wondering how this is going to help, I think even if you are a business side, I think it's not going to replace. I don't think every job it's going to replace. There are going to be some jobs it will replace, but there will be some jobs it's going to make it easy for them. So I think you should look at where you are, what kind of job you are doing, and see how this AI can really help you to make your day-to-day easy. And I think people are saying that you will not be losing the job because AI will replace you. It's going to only replace your job because you're not using AI and you don't know where to apply, how to apply, and grow and have a career growth. So I think there's a lot to see in future. So stay tuned. As I see more trends, and if I think I can share something, I will definitely post a video. But for now, I think this concludes the topic that I wanted to discuss with you guys today. So again, thanks for watching, and if you like the video and if you feel this was informative, please like, share, and comment how you felt it. Thank you. Bye.